I
recording.
know.
Well, welcome to Stardust and Clay Collective. In a peek behind the curtain to our our meetings, our weekly meetings. It's so good to be with y'all.
It feels so good to have you around our big ass table.
Yay.
Pull up a seat. Everyone has a seat at this table. We're so glad you're here.
Well, it's got to be a big ass table because we're in different cities, different
It's
states.
it's as big as the world,
Our
the
our
universe.
table our table is large,
It is.
and there's always room around this table for one more or four
Some would
more.
call it
Or
huge. Some would
it's
call it
Huge.
huge.
It's a
huge
huge
table.
table.
The hugest you've ever seen.
Yes.
Oh
I all the
man.
important things happen around the table, like art projects happen at the table, figuring out monthly bills happen at the table, meals all happen at the table, important, milestone meals, celebrations happen around the table, and great conversation happen all around the table. So I love that we just have this big ass table that welcomes all people. Yeah. So I'm glad to be sitting at this table with y'all. We're in good
Thanks.
company.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Hmm.
Well, we'd like to introduce ourselves a little bit because you've maybe seen some of our faces or heard our voices or seen our creations on our social media, but maybe you haven't actually heard from our mouths who we are. And so I guess I'll go first. My name is Maya, and I live in Austin, Texas. Been here for about 7 years. I am the spiritual director and one of the co founders of Stardust and Clay. I am super passionate about creating spaces where people can connect with the truth of who they are and the truth of life in all of its beauty and all of its brutality sometimes. I've been doing that, creating spaces like that, honestly, since I was like a freshman in high school. I can remember when I was deep in the church and in evangelical Christianity, even as a teenager, I was creating spaces in my home and at school, all the way through my early adulthood. I served with the military for a period of time, and afterwards, I created spaces for military spouses because I saw that they were lacking community, um, homeless ministries. It's just Stardust and Clay as an organization helping to create spaces where people can connect with the truth of life and the truth of who they are and help to mirror the truth of one another, back to each other, as I think we can only do in community. That's been something I've done for as long as I can remember. Um, and so, yeah, I'm just really happy to be here. Spiritual director kind of makes me giggle a little bit whenever I say it because it sounds so much like spiritual director. But for me, what that means is really just what I described. It's helping to cultivate spaces and conversations where people can connect with the truth of their own spirit and explore with curiosity and liberation and awe and wonder and questions about spiritual things, spiritual matters, and who is spirit and how does spirit show up in life, in nature, in relationships, within ourselves. So, spiritual director is more about providing opportunity and an invitation to ask questions and to be curious, much more than like coming to some black and white dogmatic understanding of spirit or of the divine. So, Yeah, that's me. I'm a mom. I've got four beautiful kids, ages 8 to 13. I've got an amazing partner. I am a lesbian, late in life, came out at the age of 40. And that has been an awesome and wild journey, but I've been gay my whole life. Just had to undo a lot of things to realize it. And I'm passionate about creativity and about healing and about fun and about nature, and I love humans. So welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Well, dang. How are we supposed to follow that?
Hi, it's the cafecito. When in doubt, have some espresso and the brain turns on. Until I'll crash in about an hour.
There you go. Oh, sorry. Do you want to go next, or do you want
Oh,
me
go
to go
ahead,
next?
Maggie.
Okay. So I am Maggie. I'm one of the co-founders of Stardust Clay Collective, and I am the operations manager. So like the behind the scenes girly, making like website stuff and like policies, manuals and stuff. Which I love because in my 9 to 5 job, I am a hospital chaplain. So I'm doing a lot of stuff that you can't really put your finger on and be like, there, it's done. It's a lot of like conversations about people um, exploring their own spirituality, especially in times of crisis. So with Stardust and Clay, I love that we are able to connect people with their spirituality and with creativity, which I don't often get to see in a hospital setting. Not as often as I do here. But I do often explain, especially to the kids and teenagers, that spirituality is how you connect to yourself, to others, and to a higher power. A lot of people, I'm in Indiana, so a lot of people think that, they think of religion, first of all. And it can be that. And it can be, okay, what happens when you're not attending religious services on a weekend? So I love that we're able to encourage and explore what does it look like outside of religion and outside of the four walls of a religious organization building. So I provide spiritual direction, which is um, it's a practice that's rooted in Christianity, like traditionally, but because I am an interfaith chaplain board certified, I approach spiritual direction as okay, where are you experiencing the holy, the divine in your day to day life? And what do you want that to look like? What is working for you and what is not working for you? Okay, let's turn the dial up on what's working and turn the dial down on what's not working. So often that will look like figuring out where spirituality shows up, even when you don't expect it. So I remember talking to a spiritual director about like just going about my morning routine and kind of like talking to myself, recognizing that there was like a benevolent presence kind of listening and like hanging out with me. And he said, Maggie, don't you think that's prayer? So that was just a normal practice in that season of my life. And that spiritual director kind of opened my eyes to see actually that's a spiritual practice, or you can look at that as a spiritual practice. So it's kind of what spiritual direction can be. And also like brainstorming about what you might want it to look like. What has worked for you in the past? Okay, how can we figure out a way for you to get more of that? Yeah, so that's kind of that. I live in Indiana, live in Indianapolis. I've been here since 2018, so almost 8 years. Um, live here with my partner and my cat, Pickles and Butters, my little baby. Yeah, so that's kind of a little about me.
And we would not be functional, let me just say. You would not be seeing us on social media or listen, Maggie makes us functional. Um, I am diagnosed with ADHD. We may have some other neurodivergence on the team. I'm not going to diagnose people, okay? I am ADHD, very creative, very passionate, and very squirrely. So without Maggie, my dreams would just be in my journal, honestly. So thank God for you.
Thank you.
Mm.
And thank God for you both too, because things would be a lot more serious if it was just me. A lot less creative, a lot less colorful.
Really
As
good
far as like
spreadsheets. Really
all
good
the,
spreadsheets.
it would be that, but it would be in black and white.
I'm so thankful for the two of you because it's such a well-rounded team that we have, and it takes each of us. It takes each of us, and I think it's like a little microcosm of like the larger community that we're parts of and that we serve, and that um, it just doesn't community we realize is so important even in the building of Stardust and Clay Collective, because it is out of our being, it is out of our connecting that Stardust and Clay Collective came to fruition. My name is Sanseria, and I am the creative director and co-founder of Stardust and Clay Collective, and so thankful for the creativity, for the colors, for the administration skills that I do not have all the time. Um, all of those are just so important, and I'm so glad that we get to do this work together. It is about connection, and I think so importantly grounded in joy, rest, gratitude. Stardust and Clay Collective is about deep, meaningful connection with yourself first. You got to know who you are. And, you know, as a Shakespeare enthusiast, to thine own self be true. Um, so it starts with deep, meaningful connection with yourself, and then spirit, source, creator, life, universe, um, however you relate to the divine and sacred in your own life, deep, meaningful connection to spirit, deep, meaningful connection to earth. We are of this planet, this beautiful time and space that we get to share together. What does that mean to really connect with earth, who cradles us, who holds us, who carries us through this life and is teeming with life? And um, yeah, so we get to foster and cultivate deep, meaningful connections with earth, and deep and meaningful connections with kin, others, people. We are not meant to live alone. We are not meant to live these individual lives. We are designed to thrive and live in community. And I'm so thankful that I get to share this community with Maggie and with Maya, and now with you. Um, and so what a great way to open up, like, all these different practices that we include. Like, um, me, I'm a poet and an author. My background was in theater arts as an educator, and I have 20 plus years of experience teaching in the traditional classroom. And I think, you know, I've always practiced radical hospitality, even as a teacher, because it was so important for me that all of my students felt a sense of belonging in the classroom, belonging to each other. And so that sense of community building has always been really important to me, both in and out of the classroom. I practice radical hospitality at this big ass table by serving up cheese and crackers. And beyond that, just a feast of creativity and poetry, and how we discover our own voice. And so all those flavors together come combine, um, in this really beautiful place of Stardust and Clay Collective. And to me, it feels like not work. Even though it is my life's work, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like connection. It feels like home. It feels like goodness, richness. And that's really exciting to me. So I love that we get to invite folks to come and sit with us and gather around this table, and for all kinds of reasons, for all kinds of purposes, to engage our spiritual curiosity, to engage and ignite our creativity, whether that's with art making with clay, or painting and expressive writing. Everybody is a poet. You may not feel artistic or creative at all. And I just want to encourage you to know that it's in there. You might have a different medium. Maybe your medium is cooking food. Maybe your medium is gardening, or whatever that is, but we're all creative beings and we all have a story to tell. So we are, in fact, all poets. We just might need the right prompt. But I just want to welcome you to the space of Stardust and Clay Collective as we just engage in conversation around spiritual curiosity and creativity, and what does it mean to connect with other people? What does it mean to connect with spirit and earth? What does that look like? What does it feel like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? As a poet, I like to engage all of our senses. So these are things that we're going to explore together in community, in a brave space of community where all people are welcome. And I'm so excited for what's next in all the ways that we are going to gather together. So
Awesome.
Yes.
Yes.
If I'm getting distracted over here, if you're watching this playback and you see me, it's because I'm in my new backyard and we have so many beautiful birds that keep grabbing my attention, like cardinals and blue jays, and I'm not sure if you can hear their songs, but
A
they're
little bit.
they're chirping and tweeting and all of their sing-songing and beauty. Um, and I'm just thinking about that too as we're gathering together and we're introducing who we are. Like, um, I love that what we're building in connection really encourages and promotes a sense of presence
Mhm.
in our bodies, presence with one another, and presence with all living things. Um, and so when we're in different spaces, whether it be in conversations virtually or in person at retreats or like our 1 day getaway that's coming up on May 9th, we'll have moments of pause, and we'll build some of that in, and some of that will just be organic. And it really is to cultivate, and it is a practice. Presence is a practice,
mm-hmm.
Especially in our culture. Our culture just
Mhm.
like trains us to just get it all done. And we are, the three of us in our individual lives and collectively, and then throughout Stardust and Clay, we're encouraging a cultivation of this practice of presence.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, which just brings fruit to all areas of our lives and our enjoyment. So
Mhm.
anyway, I'm not distracted and ignoring any of the conversation we're having here. I'm just also very present with the birds.
Well, and I think part of being present is the noticing, right? That's
Yeah.
what
Mhm.
it is.
Yeah.
It's the actual deep breathing, it's the slowing down, and it's the noticing, the paying
Mhm.
attention. Like something calls to you and pulls your focus and your attention, even if it's just for a moment. And then you can practice be where your feet are. You
Mhm.
are present to that little noticing, and it's like messages from universe, like listen to our
Like
song.
visual.
Yeah.
Here, spring
Yes.
is here. And I think it's beautiful that we're recording this on Easter,
Yeah.
which could mean a lot of things to lots of different people. And what
Hmm.
it's meaning to me right now is life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's 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 the um, faithfulness
Mm-hmm.
of Mother Earth in bringing seasons of life, and that
Hmm.
winter can feel like a death, and in some ways it is a death, but it's a necessary death for life to come, and um, yeah, and in my own personal life, I'm going through massive transition with family, and I've um, and there's been death, but that death has made way for more abundant life, and you
Hmm.
can't have one without the other. And so I'm just celebrating that we're even recording today.
Hmm.
um, yeah, like there's this beautiful dove on my fence, like, okay, hi dove, so beautiful. I also wanted to mention, well, maybe I'll get into that in a little bit, because I think we're going to talk about what Stardust and Clay means to us.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that you mentioned that about spring, because I was just listening to
Hmm.
something this morning about how it's seasonal. This death, this grief, this
Hmm.
loss, right? The season of experiencing those things. And now here we have spring, which is the promise of newness, of that there
Hmm.
will be life again, that we do come back to this again. Life is so cyclical and
Hmm.
seasonal, and I think in each of our personal lives we've experienced loss and a grief of something this last season, and to be now entering into, like, it gives me so much hope to see these like
Yeah.
little tiny buttercups, all those Texas
Yes.
wildflowers, like, just give me
Hmm.
so much joy as I'm driving. Of course, bluebonnets. I have a thing for bluebonnets. But to just see them
Yeah.
bursting through what was used to be just dry and brown and just wet, soggy mud and just frozen coldness. And now to see the sun coming out to warm us, to invite us into what could we bring new life to? What
Hmm.
ideas? What, like, not just earth springing forward with new life, but like us as personal people, like what is being
Hmm.
awakened in us? What could we create? What could we bring new life to?
Yes.
I've heard it said that actually January 1st, yeah, is the beginning of like the fiscal year. Like it's for business, it's for capitalism, all of that. But really, like people don't have the reason so many people don't follow through with their New Year's resolutions is because our bodies are still hibernating.
That's right.
Our bodies are still deep in winter. It's not until March, April. I mean, here in Indiana, we still have a couple more days where it's going to reach 30 degrees
Mm,
Fahrenheit. So it's going to be, we're still going to have a couple of days of frozen. My body does not have the energy to do things in January. She is just now waking up to like, let's switch out the clothes to spring clothes. Let's do some things. Let's bake. She did not have that kind of energy in January. So like allowing ourselves the grace and saying like, okay, winter was not the time, but now what what do we have the energy for? What new thing? Even if it's like, I'm gonna go for a walk. Nigel and I went for a walk this morning. It took us 10 minutes. We did not make it very far. So it was like 40 degrees. But still, like, what do we have the energy for now that it's spring that we
Mm-hmm.
didn't have in the
Mm-hmm.
mhm,
And I will say, I just feel like maybe somebody needs to hear this. I know at times in my life I needed to hear it. The three of us I've known Sanseria for now over 6 years. I've known Maggie for now almost 12 years
Mhm.
or more. Long time.
It's been at least 12. Yeah.
I've known myself for 42 years. Um, we are warriors of the winter, the
Mm.
three of us. And even though the earth is shifting to spring, and even though the three of us are feeling some life coming back to some dead places, if you're in a long season of
Mm.
winter, years, where you're like, I haven't tasted spring for a very long time. And I can't, like, community is scary because, the expectation is to put on the happy face. I just want you to know we have ourselves lived in long,
Mhm.
multi-year seasons of winter in our
Mm.
lives. And
Yeah,
we
that's
have
good.
the
Yeah.
compassion, the experience, and the tenderness to hold
Mhm.
space for someone who is in a long winter. So come, like, really don't, it's kind of like, I think about, you can either get like fake flowers and put them in the pot, right? Or you can wait for the real flowers to go through their actual process of maturation and their growth, right? And those
Mhm.
real flowers are so much more satisfying than the fake ones. And so don't bring your fake potted ass to our spaces. But really, don't
That's
do
the
it.
takeaway.
Just don't put yourself through that. You might feel like
Yeah.
you need to do that at work.
Yeah.
You might feel like you've needed to do that in community before. I know I have. You do not need to be that way with us. If you bring yourself in a pot and all we see is dirt cuz you're still way down underground in the darkness of your
Mhm.
season, beautiful.
Mhm.
Beautiful. This is not a place to just come when you're fully whatever, right? Fruitful and blossomed and um
I
yeah.
love that you said that, Maya. That's like such
Yeah.
a beautiful invitation and like word of welcome to like people who
Mhm.
might still be wandering in the wilderness, because that was me for like a
Mhm.
better part of more than 15 years. That winter, that long winter wait of a season where I did not, couldn't even hope for spring. It was just so far gone. So thank you for reminding us that we are in fact warriors of winter, and we know what that is like. And to just know that like all people are welcome here in whatever season they find themselves in, whatever season, where whatever stage of growth you're at,
Mhm.
seedling, root, because it's
Mhm.
all necessary, it's all important. All of those seasons make up this time and space. And so
Mhm.
yeah, we all are important.
Mhm.
I think I used to like I spent a ton of years in the church, and I always felt pressured to be the blooming flower, But I think that seeing people in all different stages, the root, the seed, all of that, it keeps us honest.
Hmm.
Like you cannot say, oh, this is always what happens when
Mhm.
someone comes into this space, because it's not. Because some people may be in spring, some people may be in winter, some people may be in fall. It keeps us honest to recognize no, people are in all different seasons. And this person you may never see them outside of winter.
Yep.
Maya, you knew me in winter for many, many years. And I think that like one thing that Sanseria, I know that I haven't known you nearly as long, but you've seen me in winter for a long time too. And so I think that being able to show each other grace on the good days, on the rough days, on the everything in between, like meh days, that's huge. And that to me is the value of community,
That's right.
is being able to like have true community for whatever season I'm in that day. recognizing I may be there for a while or I may not, and either one is okay.
Yeah, I
And it's
think the
not just
important
something. Oh, go ahead.
No, yeah, I think the important thing is that the beholder is not looking away
Yeah.
in whatever
Yeah.
season you're in, right? And
Yeah.
that's just what I was going to
Yeah.
say is like we are here to witness, like to be witness other, it's like our witness is to say I'm going to behold you and be glad to be with you, and I'm not going to look away in judgment or disappointment or anything like that because of whatever season you're in, right? We still tend to the thing, we still water, we still give sunlight, we still, sing songs over those seeds, and we still have a hope for the growth that will come. There will be a breakthrough of that soil, and and in the meantime we just wait. We wait and we tend. We don't give up.
And this is not this is not theory.
Right.
This is not Chat GPT. This is
Mm-mm.
not like how can we create something that this is what we have lived with each other.
Yeah.
It brings tears to my eyes because we have the three of us witnessed each other
Mm-hmm.
deep in winter and the beauty of the not rushing each other's seasons,
Mm-hmm.
right? No, like UV lights, like hurry up, let's go, break through the soil. Um, yeah, so this is tried and true over years of experience and relationship with one another. And I'm so
I,
grateful. I mean,
yeah. And honestly, I feel honored. Like, I remember our first community call, our free community call. We had a bunch of people in all different spaces.
mm,
And it is such an honor for people to share their stories of like, real talk, here's where I'm at. Here's where I've been. Here's where I'm at. I am not okay and I need community. Or people who are like, here's me. There was one lady, here's me on a cruise. And we're like, get it, girl.
yeah.
Get it. Yes, queen. Like all the things. So I think for me, it's an honor to be able to have you guys witness me in all the seasons. And it's an honor for people that I just met
Yes.
to allow me to see them, whether or not they have their makeup on, whether or not they've taken a shower that day, whether or not they're going to for the week, but be able to witness them in all the pieces. That is a huge honor.
And when we say all people, because we've said that a few times, I just want to make it really clear. When we say all people, this isn't with an asterisk. This is all people, all gender expressions, all sexual identities, all relationship structures, all, I hate that we even have this anymore, but all classes, all education levels, all races, all languages. I mean, if you don't speak a little bit of English, it might be difficult, but we can use some translation, okay? All religious backgrounds, all atheists,
Abilities.
agnostics, all
Abilities,
abilities,
yeah.
all, I mean, all. And if you ever find yourself in community with us where you at for even a moment feel like you are not in that all category, you bring awareness, okay? Because we really want everyone to feel like they have a seat at the table because you do. You do.
I have to read, this is what's coming to mind when we were talking about like, all people are welcome here, and also like the stardust and clay of it all. Like we are made of both stardust and clay. We are both divine and infinite and expansive, and we're also fragile and of earth and of that gritty, tough truth, like that is tangible, that is, all of those things. So what came to mind was this quote. It's from Looking in the Mirror by Albert Henry Collins. And I found this some years ago, and I just love it so much. It says, your body is made of the same elements that lionesses are built from. 3/4 of you is the same kind of water that beats rocks to rubble, wears stones away. Your DNA translates into the same 20 amino acids that wolf genes code for. When you look in the mirror and feel weak, remember, the air you breathe in fuels forest fires capable of destroying everything they touch. And on the days you feel ugly, remember, diamonds are only carbon, and you are so much more. That's Curtis Ballard.
Damn.
Yeah, right? I love that. Like the
Okay.
whole idea that if that doesn't speak to the fact that we are made of stardust, like
Yeah.
we the supernovas, okay, the elements of that is what exists in us. We are the universe manifested, and when we can understand that, suddenly each of us has value, each of us matters, each of us belongs. And what a just a beautiful way, a reminder.
Mm-hmm.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to print
Thank
that
you.
and post it on every wall.
No, seriously. Yeah.
Yeah. When I think of being Stardust as well, I think of the unseen and the unknown and the unknowable,
Mm,
but the the things that like my soul knows, but my brain doesn't really comprehend. My
mm,
body has never seen,
Mm-hmm.
but I know it. Like I know it deep down because it's the place that my soul comes from. It's the world of spirit. It's the place where
yeah.
my ancestors live and communicate with me. Um, Even if I can't hear their voices or see them, I'm not like, I sometimes think that like certain birds or like ladybugs are little messengers from ancestors, but it's like on a spiritual frequency, my ancestors connecting with me and these spiritual guides, these ascended masters,
Mm,
that are in the spiritual realm that are accessible through prayer and meditation and um, spiritual communion. And so I think about even beyond this galaxy or this universe, like into these dimensions that as humans maybe some have capacity to tap into, and I would love to learn as I go, like how to do that more and more. But I just think about that level of stardust, that like my soul comes from a home that is beyond this dimension and can still connect to that home and to other beings that exist in that realm, and that my soul will return to that place. And that just gives me so much like encouragement, life, hope, um, rootedness, groundedness, feeling of security and safety and infinite possibility that I really do need to tap into for me to be well on planet Earth when my feet are in the clay of life. So, yeah, I just, it makes me
Love that.
excited. And when I was more fixed in religion, I would have had all sorts of like religious words to try to describe that, and kind of these boxes of theology, you know, and sacred text to point to. And now it's not so much like fixed for me. It's all those boxes have been kind of blown wide open. And at first that was terrifying, but now I'm in a place of like, if it's so understandable that I can just put words to it and draw you a picture and point you to a page number and a verse, right? Then is it really the enormity of the divine that I think is actually available? Like the fact
Mm.
that it isn't completely comprehensible,
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the
right?
mystery of it, yeah, the
The
mystery of it
mystery.
is the
Yeah.
thing. And to define it is to reduce it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. That incense, I love that.
I know, me too. I
Yes.
saw the little glare and I was like, is that the
Is
spiritual
that what I think it
invading?
is?
I was like, I think you have an ancestor legit that I can see right there. Or an incense.
Or
One
an
and the same.
incense.
I don't know. I don't know how it works.
I think for me, I've always had a hard time connecting with the harder, I not hard, but harder time connecting with the Stardust part.
Mm,
Like I do, I feel like when I look up the sky, especially stars, right? Like it is like this vastness and that connection to something that's bigger than me. So like I do connect with that. I
Mhm,
think what resonates more with me though is the clay part
mhm,
because I think like as I feel like a lot of like for years, like even before I did chaplaincy, but especially with chaplaincy, like I've had parents ask me to pray for their child to pee, to pray for mucus, like just the stuff of life.
mm,
And so that like daily like grittiness of life. And I feel like with the way that my brain is wired, like I just um I focus more, which we're trying to rewire in EMDR, but I focus more on like the negative and like the ground, like the the grittiness of like life and the world, and also I relate more to like biology and chemistry, and that's like stuff that I can see and touch and feel. And physics, I never took physics, and physics just confuses me. So I think that like for me, the clay part is like the stuff that you can hold and touch and mold, and it breaks, and it's just like real, and it's connected to the earth. And to me, that means so much. Even when I don't feel, even when my brain can't expand to the idea of like, okay, but we're also connected to the stars and to stardust. I do have that clay for the
mhm.
days when my brain just can't. So I love that.
So good. I love it all. I love the clay too, you know?
Yeah.
I love the clay. It's the clay is so, and this just goes to like my kind of still working itself out, and probably until I take my last breath, kind of belief system around the divine. But I believe that being a human, like the soul embodying into a human form, is very intentional and purposeful.
Mm-hmm.
And the desire to go to like hyper spiritual places is almost um it's not either or, it's not spiritual or
Mm-hmm.
human, it's both, and it's stardust and clay. And
Mm-hmm.
to ignore the clay part of my reality, my humanness, is to kind of miss the whole thing about being here on
Mm-hmm.
earth. I think my soul gets to go through lots of different places over the course of, I don't know, limitless time and space, but right here right now, like this
Mm-hmm.
this like this breaking open, being in the trenches of life and digging in the clay of my own story, and sitting with what just feels like rubble sometimes, and like trying to look, is there anything here worth salvaging? Like all of that processing and healing, or just being with in the dirt and the muck,
Mm.
is beautiful and very intentional. Um, yeah.
Mm. Gotta remember to breathe. Gotta remember to breathe.
Mhm.
Especially when it's cold. It is like in the 40s out here in Austin right
Oh
now.
my gosh, that's
We
too
don't do
cold for
that.
y'all.
We don't
No,
do
y'all don't
that
do
in
that. No.
April. What is this? Indiana, take your cold back.
We already have it. We already have it.
You're being so generous with your cold fronts. Please stop.
Mm.
Too generous.